Yo, what up, YouTube, Twitch, 45 wonderful viewers. Welcome to the Entirely Based Podcast. I appreciate y'all. I absolutely love video, but we don't have a single community person out there screaming for PvP. Everybody seems to want to kill it. The devs want to kill it. Our big streamers don't give a fuck about it. Pardon me. I'm supposed to blip that out. They don't care. Yeah, I'm a small enough YouTuber. They won't give a shit. Let's go. Let's get right into it. God, I'm good at this, chat. I already messed up. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Let's get right into this. There's a lot of changes. The changes are coming to us being very frustrated. Yeah, welcome to join in, good old boy. You were in an episode. You're welcome to join in. I was just about to message you. My two other friends did not show up. But yeah, so we just had a lot of frustration, and they actually asked Jay for the first time in almost 8 years, I think, to step down. Keep in mind, Jay listens to us, so the fact that they want the guy listening to us to step down means shit is going down. Shit is going down. Why do they want Jay to step down? Because, well, I think the best way to put it is, and I heard the Koreans say it on Blues United Nations when they all got together. We ask for A, and they give us A, B, and C, all connected. Like A and B and C are connected. We own like, and we're like, oh, we need PvP. We need to fix node. We need to fix open world or something like that's what we asked for. Instead, they're like, okay, but now we'll break node wars and we'll give you like ranked GVGs. Like, that's the good example. We're gonna get right into it. But like, that's how the KR explained it. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And hey, what up, homie? Yeah, you want to explain who you are to everyone watching? Surprise. We have a co-host. They can hear you now.
Okay, cool. So, my name is Good Old Boy TV. I'm an archer player. I go by Goober. I'm a newer player, about 4.5 months. Enjoying the game, and I've been listening to a lot of veteran players, and dude, I
Yeah.
got opinions.
Yeah, yours were pretty
today we are
pretty invaluable in that last one. Let's watch this video. I don't know if you've seen this video. You want to have anything on the changes because it's going to be interesting. As a new player, your opinions are probably crazy. That's why I was like, let's get you in here because you're probably gonna if this goes through. Not only have they already made Node Wars where like you won't get the old 4-hour Node War slugfest like we used to, but like it's looking like that is never gonna happen again. But let's watch this.
we're going to go over the developer stream announcements. This one is going to be a bit of a shorter video since there were only a couple of topics discussed today than we thought. But first, PvP was talked about. There will be a brand new mode of open world PvP called Guild League. This will be placing guilds into ranked matchmaking with several open world maps. 10 to 20 of your guild members will then face the same amount of
Yeah, so I wanted to get here. I thought this was amazing. Like this is we've been I like literally I think you were here in our podcast. We asked for instance PvP. We said they have the world, we have everything. Why don't they do what they're good at, the smaller scale PvP? This is exactly what we asked for. This is one of the things we asked for in our podcast. So this is really good. I don't know if I feel like if they kill PvP in the whole, this might not be super popular, but in general, this looks super fun.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on this? Like,
So I think since it is structured PvP content, I think it is great and it has a purpose. Definitely something they could do with this is allow people to be competitive in this nature, but also allow people, veterans who want to see how newer players could react, right? To set up these fights, these smaller ones, like the GVGs, and provide opportunities for them to learn and like form good habits, get rid of bad habits before it becomes really important in uncapped open world, right? Like with the
yeah,
siege and node wars, that kind of thing. So it could be a good tool.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, I think also like every guild needs a core, right? And the core sets the tone for the guild straight up. So like, the stronger your core is, the stronger your guild is. The stronger your core, 20 to 30 people. To be honest, I think that this is. While this looks super fun, when you objectively when you think about it, you're not gonna. Since it's like representative of your guild, if you're in a big guild, you're not gonna see anyone but your core. And it's gonna what it's gonna do is it's gonna effectively create like baseball teams and all stars and stuff, where you'll be rooting for your team's best players. You see what I'm saying? Which is I think it's cool. It's got an interesting dynamic. I love it. It's just once again I think it's a step in the right direction, but it's not aiming for everybody. I'm gonna hit play. I'm gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Players from a different guild. Winners and losers will get corresponding rewards, with higher ranked guilds getting ranked rewards as well. There will be no guild caps for this mode, and its purpose is to try and mimic open world PvP as we used to have it. A friendly match version of this guild league will go live in December fairly soon. Next, we have Node Wars. Talked about Node Wars are being
Dude, December. He means KR, but that's still good. That's still good. That's still good.
completely
At this
revamped.
point, I
Node
don't
Wars
put
as
any
we knew
kind
them
of
will be
weight on
deleted.
timelines,
Sieges
right?
are
Yeah, it's
not
like-
affected by this. Only Node Wars. Node Wars will be renamed to Region War.
Okay, yeah. What the fuck is? Hold on.
Each region's not affected by the completely revamped. Next, we have Node Wars. Talked about Node Wars are being completely revamped. Node Wars as we knew them will be deleted. Sieges are
I really hate whenever they start shit off like that. Node wars as we know them will be deleted, and then this is what you get. Was there a single person out there saying that Node War was horrible content? Is what I really want to know. I feel like everybody shows up at a specific time to do Node War. I'm looking at this and I'm like, why are they doing this again?
not affected by this. Only Node Wars. Node Wars will be renamed to Region War. Each region, so Balanos,
maybe that's just me.
Serendia, Valencia, so on, will have a set of nodes of which you can apply to fight on. You apply to fight on a certain region. Before the region war starts, all guilds
So you have
that
to apply to fight
for that region war will be randomly placed on different nodes throughout that region. Each node within the region will have varying time limits from 20 minutes up to 6.
So you get randomly placed in one of these little fucking circles, right? That's a node, and they all have different timers to take, and you have to stay on the one you get dropped on, basically unless the timer ends, and then you can move to another node. And if you're the last person holding it when the timer goes off, you win it, and you're out of the fight.
That's kind of good. I do like the idea of the direction they're going in.
And it's an hour long.
Could be up to, yes. Yeah.
No, it's an hour long. Yeah, if you don't get a
Just looking at
node
these
or you
nodes,
get to the
yeah.
end, yeah, because it could be. But yeah, exactly. So if you do well, it's 20 minutes long.
60 minutes or an hour. The region war itself is going to last a total of 1 hour. If you get placed into
Come on
a
in,
node
Blue Sky.
that has
You're
a
welcome.
20-minute timer, you will be fighting over a fort location in.
It's a good time. We could like to hear what you think about this, buddy. Better late than never.
I will say this real quick, Vessel, is that a lot of the stuff they're doing is great, but one thing that I have just noticed is lacking is the tools, the tool availability for guilds and alliances to train their leaders. Not just like they're not like their structured leaders, but in combat, right? Like you have your special teams, your platoon leaders, and everything. Because trying to like watch everything
Yeah.
all at once is almost impossible. And so to develop the skill, the small unit leadership that some of these other players need to like take control if something happens or changes, the tools for that are almost non-existent in this game.
That was going to be a lot more responsibility on these because this is all smaller nodes. He said all between 20 and 40, he said, or something like that. From what I understand, I could have been mistaken.
Hey, what's up?
Is that the blue sky just in time? We'll have to do a shout out in the YouTube video. You want to say hi to everybody, I guess, and explain why you're late to the podcast. But it's okay, never mind. It's fine.
Yeah, if you guys remember me from last time, I'm BLUESKY900. I'm also one of the video content creators. I mainly play Awakened Wizard. Sorry for popping in the podcast a little late. I didn't see the DM about it happening tonight until like just
It's all right.
now.
He forgot it was a Sunday thing, and I didn't quite tell him that he was my regular love. I broke it to him just now, but it's okay. At least you didn't do it Saiku, dude. Saiku, literally, this is what he said. Everybody loved it, by the way. It was Saiku and you. That was great. This is what Saiku did. Literally, he said, "Oh man, I missed it." And then I look at him and I see him playing fucking season of Discovery, and wow, and my heart's broken. But at the same time, I understand. Wow, what? But no, he could be doing it. I know exactly, but like it's that's well played. But anyway, so what do you think about this Nodewar thing? Before I can move on, BLUESKY.
I talked about it a bit in my channel. Basically, my opinion of it. It's very much of like, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. I think the best thing that came out of it is the idea of completely like random matchmaking for nodes. I think that is awesome. I think that is like, I've been asking for that forever.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. And I feel like our podcast, or we we specifically asked for pre-built structures, and then this happened. Thanks, Jay. If you're watching this podcast, just know I love you. I never wanted them to fire you. Why would they say that dumb stuff? Anyways, well, we need Jay. We need Jay. But anyways, so like this is, I feel like this is so. Overall, before I move on, I want to say this is all a step in the right direction. If they don't look at this like Node Wars, they're looking at it too objectively. We need other PvP content, and this is called, what do they call it? Region Wars. It's not territory wars. It's called Region Wars. Why can't they just add Region Wars as well as, you know, War of the Roses, as well as Node Wars as well? You know what I mean? Like, why can't it just be a whole nother thing? Did he just try to time me out in my own podcast? Anyways, let's go on.
In that node for 20 minutes. The last guild that controls the fort will be declared the winner and will be removed from the region war. The rest of the guilds in that node will then be allowed to move on to different nodes currently active within the region war. So if a nearby node had a 40-minute timer at the start of the region war, your guild will then have 20 minutes to conquer that node fort. So 20 minutes, not 40 minutes, because the timers on all these nodes start counting down from the beginning of the war. You will also be fighting guilds that are already in combat in that node, depending of course on how many guilds overall have applied for that region. You repeat this until the entire hour of the region war ends, and placements for which nodes you get will be random to prevent politics.
Okay, I get this, but so if Cho Nation drops on the 20-minute one randomly, do you think they just take it, or do you think they picks the weakest person there to say you can have it, and then just go to the 60-minute one afterwards, and or go to wherever the most people are, and then give it to whoever they decide. You know what I'm saying? Until they get to the 60-minute one last. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they don't think about how to abuse the system at all. Like, so they're actually going to give Cho Nation hour-long wars every single time, I think.
So I think there's some translation stuff going on here. Because I've heard multiple different versions of this portion of the talk. I've had one, which is how you said it would be, which is, they do one and then they get randomly assigned to another. I've heard someone say that no, the translation is actually the first one is pre-assigned, and then after that, you're unlocked and free to go wherever the hell you want. And if that's the case, and you were talking like strong guilds like Cho or Digi or whatever, they're gonna do their first one. Sure, they might just give it away because they want the bigger prize, but they'll probably just go straight for the big one at that point, and then they'll just stay there for the rest of the war. Those are the two
So
versions I've heard. I don't know which one it's going to be, though.
I like a lot of the things that I've been seeing, but one thing I would like to see is uh, part of the content where they would get buffs depending on the nodes that they took. That would
No.
make them tailor their tactic for victory in siege.
God, I wish I had it.
Or do they want to risk taking one of the last nodes
I
in
have it
this
today
that
on my
has a bigger boom?
stream.
Because
It's
with
so
that
bad.
risk, if they get pushed off, then they don't get the place, right? So they get to choose. I would like to see something like that. A little bit more risk, a little bit more reward.
Well, I think that's what they got going on here. But Cho Nation doesn't care if they lose. They only need one node for the week, so they can lose all week. I'm guaranteeing themselves a win on like Thursday or Friday. You see what I'm saying? So like they could sit here and put everybody they want in every single node. Like according to this, it looks like Cho Nation and the mighty Digibots, when they roll out with Black Rose, once they combine, that they can just get all their friends, whoever's at that node, where like to put whoever in place. You know what I mean? Like it's
That's true, but if you had accumulated assets over that period of time frame, like the week, if they didn't do any kind of war throughout and they waited, those smaller guilds who could accumulate those resources, those siege resources that come from getting those nodes, would have the ability to give them more of a fight later in the week, right?
yeah. I mean, more
I
of a
think
fight against the mighty Cho Nation, maybe, but yeah.
I think it's gonna be more of a problem of
Lamau.
I don't know, alliances are still gonna happen. Is what's gonna happen from this. I think at the end of the day, the smart people are going to group up against the bigger guilds potentially.
But if you're weak, why wouldn't you let Cho just hand you the 45-minute node that you've been fighting for? If you're in a 20, like it's a 20, you know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you? It actually promotes it. That's what I'm saying. This whole thing is crazy. It promotes like people who shouldn't be there being there because it's like a coach you're in deal. Like,
I mean, to be fair,
think
that
about
even
it,
happens.
like
That
who?
happens
Okay,
right now, even.
I know that's what I'm saying. It's not all it's doing is messing stuff up and taking 3 hours of our fun away. That's what I'm saying. It's just not going to change anything. Exactly.
Think if it ties into War of the Roses, wasn't like the dominant team the one that has the most points by the end of the week? So that's supposed to be incentive for people to do stuff like this.
I mean,
Well,
this
yeah,
is
it's the
Node Wars
the
now.
two leading guilds of War of the Roses are determined by points earned through Siege and Nodewar
Yeah, but
by winning.
the incentive, I guess you get to do Node Wars, you get to do War of the Roses, but you also like the basically you get a billion silver for winning a node, and you get 2 billion silver for winning Siege. That's the main incentive, and you get the territory drop bonus, right? So there's direct incentive there. So let's look at the direct. I mean, there is direct incentive, but Cho Nation and the strong guilds don't need the couple billion, and that's why the small guilds, they'll have to take it, right?
Yeah, but they might want to participate. Well, not participate. They might want to be the lead guild of War of the Roses, right? Like, who knows
Because
how
you save
much they'll
30
want
bill,
to do
right?
that? And because they need to win nodes to compete against other guilds, if they're just giving their nodes away, those other guilds will be the ones to take the
But
lead.
they're not giving
Whoever
away.
has it.
So they're giving away the 20-minute one that they get put on, so they could take the. They're not going to lose the 60-minute one. You think Joe Nation's going to lose? Right? There's still fighting going on. They're just choosing their enemies, is what I'm saying. So like they can, let's say Crawling Chaos and my guild Ventus is there with, I don't know,
skill issue.
some other guild that I don't know that has a skill issue. I don't know. God bless them. I love them. Let's say Highfall is there. I would Show Nation, and we're all on the 25-minute one, and they put us there randomly. Show Nation is gonna just pull out their giant D and hand that shit to Highfall, and move on, and probably follow us and fight us on whatever node we go to, and take that. Is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the short answer is there is no real solution to solve this with the current way the system is implemented, right? No matter what you do, people can just give up and like, here you go, right? The only way they can get around that is if they change the way nodes work so that the victory condition isn't like capturing the fort or destroying a fort, it's by points. So
I mean,
that
they
way,
could do
if
that.
Show starts going crazy and getting a lot of kills, they'll just win.
They could do that,
no matter
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could do that. They could also just like they could very easily fix the system they have, just like you said, instead of this. Like I don't know, like, but basically this wasn't a problem, and that's their major issue. When there's not a problem with stuff, they like to fix it sometimes.
That's true.
I'm like they fixed open worlding out of the game, and now they're fixing Node Wars for the third time. And every time they fix Node Wars, I'll be honest, there's half as many guilds.
They're engineering problems they
down.
don't have the solution
Like
to.
they don't. What is Jay's trying to get everybody to love him right now, and we're looking at him like you are not a football coach, bro. That's what my chat is saying. We're looking at like, I love you, Jay. I fucking love you, bro. I cursed on my YouTube video for you, but you are not a football coach, bro. I don't know where this came from. We need to go back to the drawing board. We need to actually go. Wow, I'm good. I'm good tonight. We need to actually go back to the drawing board.
Beforehand, but of course you can still diplo as the war starts.
Yeah.
You can talk to other guilds in the node with you. This also means there will be no more base building. No,
you can still diplo with guilds and work with them and go with them. You see what I mean?
For control over this one fort in that node, your guild does not have buildings they need to defend if they are purely attacking. This is to make it so the defense role we knew is no longer going to exist, and it is purely a more dynamic or attack-centric fight. At least that is the idea. There will also be last hit for no.
Okay, I have an even deeper question. Who the fuck am I gonna kill if there's not a Cho Nation defense squad? I gotta kill that. They're all attacked. I'm just kidding. That was a meme. I never mind. What do you think about no defense squad though? That was my little.
Because they know the guild needs it or because they're kind of forced into it. So defense isn't really ever a desired thing, but defense is still going to be a thing. I mean, we're still not sure what these pre-built forts look like, right? Do they have flame towers? Do they have what do they have? Do they still have defensive structures that people can operate? Like,
depending on the size and the changes that those defensive could be like, they could have to repair a bridge, like something. We don't know if they're going to just change the structures too, right? Like they have so many options that they could explore that it's legitimately crazy.
And that kind of scares me because they're not good at doing that. You should have seen some of the stuff they had us doing between the modes they literally took out of the game where they had us building stuff. It was not good. It was like a pre-built area, and you just threw down ballistas and stuff to protect it and stuff, and it was like, I had fun, but only when you had a good builder, right? Remember that thing? Whatever it was called.
node forts, meaning you can still
I have no
win
idea what you're
as a
talking about. That was
weekly
probably
guild,
before I
and
started
team
playing the
battles
game.
Before you ever
will
played
be
the game,
removed.
Blue Sky, exactly.
RBF will be getting an update fairly soon that will make sure that whenever you rejoin after having left the fight, whichever side you were on at the start of the RBF, you will be placed back on that side, which means
That
if
is like
you
the
were
most
leaving
nervous
the
sip of water I've ever seen someone say.
Okay, first of all, I've never seen Jay look like this, and I'm worried for Jay. But at the same time, I started my podcast. He's fucked. No, he's so why is he doing all this and nervously drinking that water? I don't know if they're setting him up as a martyr or what, but so far, all my KR friends, they absolutely love this change. I want you to know. So he's doing this as a favor to them, and they absolutely love this, which is why I'm bringing up the fact that we're like, what? Because it's actually something we need to bring up. Because, yeah. Korea loves it. And so when this goes live over there, it's gonna go go live in the game globally, and then that's it. Like, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
try and join the winning side and swap. As you rejoin, this won't really work anymore. Rewards for RBF will also be getting buffed sometime soon. So that was all the PvP talk. We had
also very few people would switch just to the winning side. Right now, and yeah, some people did that, but right now, a lot of people leave, crash, don't even come back, and I use this to switch and go to the losing side. So I'll no longer be able to do that. I think it's going to be just as one-sided. People from the losing side are going to leave.
Yeah.
And now,
I mean,
now you won't be able to. I won't be able to join the losing side anymore. Is the way I'm looking. I'm going to have to spawn. I'm forced to spawn camp now.
I mean, I think it's a good thing because it. How many of those games that are so unwinnable are because people keep doing that, right? Like, how many games could have been winnable
I
if
don't
they
think.
just played it out? And
I
then
think that
also
it's so bad.
in Global Labs, they're reworking. I don't know if you saw, they're reworking the RBF matchmaking and team selection.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You literally. I did
What?
not know that. So that then I
Yeah.
was going to say the matchmaking is so bad that.
I don't
Okay,
know
but fair
how
enough.
it worked before because they didn't mention that in Global Labs. Maybe that information is somewhere out there. But basically, the way it's going to work now is it tries to make the total AP and DP of both teams the same.
Well,
Which
that's great
can
news.
still backfire because, I mean, what if it's just like 1,000 people in Tuvala, right?
One DP guy too.
Yeah, like if there were like 10 people in Tuvala hitting me, I probably wouldn't die. So it's like
One DP guy means the whole gear score of your team goes down then, because he's got a bunch of your DP all on him, and then y'all all have all the AP. So, but that's still gonna be better than what it is, no matter what. Just like Sailor J
yeah,
said.
it'll try to equalize the gear score in a better way.
Okay. All right. So we've gone over everything. Yeah, KR likes the news change. Overall, my topic, all the topics tonight that we're going over, this new stuff. By the way, gunner class, I love it. I do feel like they forgot they have 2 gunner classes. By the way, that's kind of, this is awkward.
2. Okay, I know one. What's the second one?
It has a gun on his hand. Awakened Berserker.
Oh, Zerk. I mean, I don't know if I would count that.
Get schooled in the YouTube video, Blue Sky. People are gonna love you. You're gonna be like, I'm with him. I don't think it's a gunner. Dude, you think, if you ever just play it, that's all I gotta say. What you're gonna be running around, you run around shooting things, don't you?
Not as much as you think. The shooting is more of your catches, unless you're like Giga Geared and then you just kill them with Titan Blow. But
Saw Choice doing it the other day from the rooftop.
That's what I do. Wait a minute, am I Giga Geared? Damn. Okay.
I mean,
this is
you
awkward.
and I are like in the top 5% of gear in the game, probably in the population.
I have 1,700 days. I better have something. So this is fun. Okay, let's move on. I wonder, like, this is what harassment. Let's look at the gunner announcement. I don't really care about the harassment. As a streamer, I'll be honest. I thought that you just need to learn with people stream sniping you. I'm no until all the big streamers recently joined after Lost Ark basically died and they got real popular again. BDO didn't care about that. I've been stream sniped more than anybody. I could have put in some reports on against the mighty Cho Nation and the mighty whatever, you know. But I'll be honest, I look at that like an occupational hazard. If I'm broadcasting my real life, throwing my shit out here, then maybe I'll get murked in an open world game. Hey, content. They'll probably all jump in my stream afterwards and laugh too. So I don't see the problem with that. But let's see what the gunner says. Does he even say anything about the gunner?
Lastly, we got some news about a new class for next year.
Not really, but I mean, there's some stuff I'd like to talk about with the gunner that's
and
might be
it's
kind
set
of fun,
to release in 2024.
But you can go ahead and let it play.
We finally have a gunner class. We've been asking for this.
Oh yeah, he just said it's coming out in 2024.
Yeah, that's all he said.
So I found out about
but I just think it's so funny.
Oh yeah, Gio.
How much of a left turn they made with that.
It.
You can, I mean, it's definitely because they're trying to win people back. Like 100%.
You're a unit, dude.
There's so many people who've been asking for a gunner class. In the past, they've just been like a hard no. It ain't happening. It doesn't match our vision of the game. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to this year. PA's on fire. Jay has a gun pointed to his head. He's like, all right, guys.
Dude, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna lie to you. Look at this picture and think about and look at what you just said. Holy shit. Does he though? I hope not. I hope Jay's safe. Now I'm worried.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be fine. He's definitely, I mean, people are saying some shitty things and there's probably been death. I mean, let's be honest. The internet has definitely done all that. There's been death threats probably. I wouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't do that. But the gunner class, I think, is a result of all the pressure they've been feeling 100%. I don't think they would normally fucking make that at all. They were so adamant on it, and then they just made the sharpest 90-degree turn I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it, though. But it could be like corporate, like we'll say no and then, but whatever, we'll take it. I loved it because I hate every other range class that there is, and I want to play a range class because that's the meta for some reason. I want to play my Guardian, but that's a whole nother podcast. We need like hours for that. Okay, let's is there anything else? Let me think. I think that's just about it in this video.
A long time.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to wait, I think, a while before we see any
some new outfits, huh? I'm gonna go ahead and link in this video in the YouTube video. I wanted to talk a little bit about I got y'all here with me. I want to talk a little bit about the new grind spot. What's your opinion on the new grind spot, Blue Sky? Have you as a new player who probably can't even grind it when it's a catch-up opinion. What's your opinion on the new grind spot? I actually am super interested because when you think about it, like, it's a catch-up mechanic. It's designed for you, and you probably can't grind it. That's pretty interesting. I don't know. Can you grind there? Let's start with good old boys. Let's start with you. I'm really interested.
So here's the thing. I've got about 63 days of play time on my Archer. I'm 283, 396 right now. I can kill it, but not effectively.
You got 396?
Yeah. It was fun. I was just there for the knowledge, like, in like exploring the topography, the people, and just the nodes. Right. I'm already investing in some of these nodes. That's one of the good things about being a new player. I can take a little bit of the content, even though I can't grind there. I can definitely unlock it and invest in leveling the node. So I'm not like locked out of it completely. But it's fun. It's not a place I'm supposed to be. Not right now, though.
Interesting. I think it's like it's supposed to be. But yeah, go on. Where you're at, I feel like it's supposed to be where you're at. But yeah, go on.
I mean, as for me, I honestly think it's fine how it's been implemented. I think the gear score is fine. The requirements fine. Because this is the way I look at it, right? If there's any new player coming into the game or anyone who isn't the gear score to grind the boots out, you probably have other gains you could be making. Like there's like almost an order for the flames that you should get based on the difficulty, right? The first flame you'll ever get is honestly probably Land of the Morning Light. just because that's so brain dead easy,
Yep.
and you could probably buy it before you grind it. In all honesty, and
Yep.
then you'd go for the Turo Flame, and then the Jade Forest Flame, and then you do this one last. I think it's honestly all these people with less gear who are like complaining about not being able to go for the fancy thing all the end game players are going for is like you're thinking 15 steps ahead, my dude. Just calm down. You have other things that would probably be more worth your time right now. Like it's not that big a deal.
Oh
That,
yeah.
that's what I think about that whole situation. But in terms of like the actual design, it's fun. I like it. It's the spot itself isn't too like mechanically heavy, and it probably seems boring to grind, but it's kind of like that. It's just like there's this trail of like breadcrumbs in front of you, and they just every time you get a pity piece, it feels good. You're like, ooh, more money, ooh, more money, or like I'm closer to my flame. And it's something I've talked about in a video that I'm planning soon, but it's like it's the most consistent silver you'll get out of a flame spot, and that's because you can sell the pities. In all the other flame spots, it just feels bad to grind usually because you're making so little money every hour.
But you
Because
can't
those
sell the pities at the
embers,
new grind.
yeah, because those embers are just sitting there. They don't do anything. You only get this big payoff at the end, right? Instead, just getting these incremental payouts that just make every hour good makes the spot a lot more satisfying and just feels better to grind at.
Oh, I just thought about that, Sailor Jerry. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, so like, I. That's why I love having you on here because we're good buddies on the internet, but we kind of disagree with a lot of stuff. This is my opinion, and it might be because I feel like I'm a little more informed on the expansion and what they said they were gonna bring versus what they brought, and so I'm gonna go with the theme of the night for the podcast on all this stuff, uninspired bad design, and the reason that is because they caved in. They didn't stick to their original design, and they didn't include the jail and the going red area like was supposed to be, because KR was like, we don't like that. I believe somebody said we don't like that, and they were like, okay, no. So when you look at and the number one complaint I see with everybody, the new grind spot, I don't. It's not too hard to kill. I feel like you can kill it. It is just too. It's too. Well, I mean, it is too hard to kill, but it doesn't kill you much, I guess is what I'm saying. My issue with it is Fallen God is supposed to be a catch-up mechanic. How are you catching up to me when you need C20 boots to grind the spot to catch up to me? Literally, you're not gonna like. I'll just get further than you. That's what that means. So that there is the Fallen God is supposed to be a catch-up mechanic, but you have to C20 your boots to catch up to me. And that when
Wait,
the
how
fact
is
that
it
you
a catch-up mechanic? I've never heard anyone say that before.
Fallen God, would you like me to explain why it's a very obvious
I'm
catch-up mechanic? So Fallen God is a catch-up mechanic because instead of having to put 20,000 Caphras into each piece of gear to get basically the same stats, you only have to put 10,000, which is it's literally way less than half, because as you know, it gets more expensive per level. So 11 through 20 are much more than 1 through 10. So basically, they took the second half of progression off the table, and they let you gamble for it for like pennies on the dollar. It's actually a huge catch-up mechanic, and it's one of the smartest things they could have possibly done, because catching up to me with full C20s or my buddy Geo, it was phenomenally hard without what they've already added to the game. Now the argument could be made, I think Gio is saying something, maybe you don't need C20.
You don't. You really don't. That's something else I was gonna
Maybe
say.
you only need
Go ahead,
C10
finish
to
up.
grind there, and they're gonna nerf it more. But I feel like look at what it says. What does it say you need though? Right? It says you need 310, 420, and I don't even meet that. I barely grind there. I feel like it should be a lower threshold. And then not
It
only
really
that,
is.
yeah, but not only that, but look, it's sparse. It's sparse throughout a big zone that overlaps the whole area, which would be confusing except you're supposed to be running around killing people. Being red is supposed to be promoted. There's supposed to be like a desert area, which would make sense, right? With like bandits and stuff, right? Because there's supposed to be a jail in this area. I'm not sure if you knew that. I don't know if it's supposed to be a desert area, but there was supposed to be a jail. And they doubled back on that. And now you look at the grind spots, they don't make any sense as far as rotation wise, because, well, half of them don't, because they're supposed to be off on the side. You're supposed to be able to go grind on those without getting ganked and then go gank all the people on the main ones. You know what I mean? You're supposed to, they actually put a lot more thought into this content, but then it like, it lost all its inspiration when they cut half of it away, basically. And that takes away from the PvP presence and all the other stuff that that you're already missing in the game that we talked about in our last podcast. So it's like, I just feel like they missed the mark on this. Just
I honestly
completely.
don't know why they removed the bandit thing, because with the current state of how many times in Valencia
KR didn't like it.
Yeah, but how many times, right, in Valencia do you actually get flagged up on?
All the monsters
as like someone being abandoned on? It never fucking happens. I mean, I know Valencia is not as popular as it used to be, but even out there, it doesn't happen. Why? Like, I don't think it would happen that much. I mean, it would probably happen on release a bunch. Cho Nation and Ventus and like all the PvP guilds would probably have a field day for a while there, but it would die down. It would fix itself eventually. Like, I don't know. I think they overreacted.
You wouldn't love to send me to jail? That would be great.
I would.
That's what I'm saying. It would be
awesome.
Because I killed someone.
That's what I'm saying.
And
they should have done it.
Agreed.
I think 100%. It would be a very good thing. I think they should like make the process of getting out of jail somehow improve the person who's lost, right? Like the different monsters or the different jailers would have different things they're susceptible to, like floats, CCs. That way, by losing and being sent to jail, you should come out better than you went in, right? And like it would be a hardening process to temper the steel, so to speak. You know.
Yeah, I think the major point of these zones is that you don't lose crystals to going red. Okay, so if somebody's like grinding over you, you can flag on them and kill them a bunch of times, right? And go red, and then die and not lose crystals in like a bandit zone. But if you die in a bandit zone, because like I was leader of the red guild, so I could explain the whole purpose of a bandit zone. I was really excited they would add another, but really doubtful it would even make it to the. And the whole point is you don't lose crystals. That's really the whole point, right? And the thing about that is that it really promotes PvP. People would be flagging on people for no reason all the time. And what happened was in KR, they were like, the flame is already hard enough to grind. We don't want you to add that, supposedly. And also, Geo did make a good point. There's a lot of monster DR that kind of changes the requirement. I do feel like maybe they should give us like a monster gear score then, so so we know what our monster gear score is. I do feel like he's right. No problem, this guy. No problem.
Well, there's one thing that I can say as a new player that I've seen is that doing Pit of the Undying was a good way for me to learn, and I'm still learning about different PvP interactions, right? Like the CCs, the floats, the positioning, and all that, right? And it's a good stepping stone, a good tool to be used. And I think there's a lot of room for PA to implement learning opportunities into the game with a lot of these mechanics. The jail is good for one, and what this does is it fosters a more skilled PvP base the longer somebody actually participates in that activity. A lot of players right now, myself included, it boils down to who has more gear, who does more damage, especially the quick damage. You don't need the finesse that some of these other classes do. And, You have to go out of your way if you want to develop it.
Yeah, I agree completely. And the highlight of Black Desert Online is its combat system. And tonight, for a second time, we've gone off on PvP with good reason. They brought up more changes, and I just feel like they're trying to kill the game on accident or something. I don't know, because the whole point of the game for a lot of people is PvP. But if they just remove Node Wars, and there is no open world, all there is AOS, and you can't even call it a sandbox game anymore when you go out and do all these things. If what do you do now? You just grind and do Solaire, and then on
Well, I
Saturday
think they've forgotten what the game's about, right? Like even like it doesn't matter if it's PvP or PvE based. MMOs are about the community, right? And you can't even do in-game PvE like in other games without a good community. And they're it's like they're sabotaging the ability for the community to have more opportunities to mesh, right, and enrich itself with the changes that they're making. I, as a new player, I unless I go out and look for I am hard pressed to find ways to interact with the veteran player base. It doesn't happen organically almost at all.
there's not a whole lot of interaction anymore, unfortunately. I'm gonna go over our finishing notes like we did last time. Unfortunately, there's not as much interaction anymore because they keep making the great content that they have no longer viable, no longer useful. I mean, they keep patching out the good content. Like, I don't know why they're fixing Node Wars and making Region War. And instead of spending a lot of time fixing everything, they gave us stuff like War of the Roses, which apparently KR doesn't even want now. And because of that, we're not even gonna get it. I don't know. It's very confusing. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, hopefully it gets better.
So I have a lot of questions with this, and I feel like they can't just hit us with this and just leave us like this. The major problem is communication, and this is their one-sided communication with us. And now, basically, we're terrified. I'm just gonna go into that, I guess, as I'm just finishing all this. I'll just write out all the notes, and maybe you can talk about what you think. But yeah, no, like literally, I'm terrified. All the PvPers should be terrified because the last time they changed Node Wars, we lost like 3/4 of the people that Node Wars. It sucked, and they took forever to barely change it back, and they never really changed it back. We still have alliances. We still have all the stuff that sucks. So when they do this time, it's gonna ruin everything, I think. So let's just write these out. Hold on. Thank you so much for joining as a new player. It's really good to get your opinion. And apparently Blue Sky just chunk deuce on me. I'm just kidding. Welcome back. So go over the stuff. What are your overall thoughts on Region War? I typed this up.
Okay. Do you want to go first, Blue, or?
I'm just sure I can go 1st.
Mhm.
I mean, kind of like I said, I'm keeping an open mind. I know people actually give me a lot of shit for being the optimist and being very much like the cup is half full. I always have this like outlook on, you know what, maybe it's not going to be that bad. I'll give it a chance. But in all honesty, the only thing I can say for sure that I like about the region war right off the bat is the random placement. That's what I like. Because I've node ward basically the entire time I played this game. And I can tell you for sure the wars that I enjoy the most are blind drops.
Yeah,
Those are the most fun wars. I mean,
I agree.
alliances still happen in blind drops, but it's more fun that way. It's because you actually don't fucking know what's gonna happen.
It's on the
And I
fly.
hope this kind of brings that back.
Yeah. We're gonna have to almighty group up against the mighty Cho Nation or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see. And then send them packing to another node what we fight over, or I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna work at all. The region war terrifies me because they're gonna remove Nodewar to do it. I don't know why it can't be just additional content.
So the way I'm looking at it, I kind of like it. Uh, I think it could be a very powerful tool if executed properly. I'm probably going to harp on this, but I really do want them to add some kind of uh, incentive for players to start PvP earlier in the weekly cycle and do as much as they can to tailor a victory condition for Siege, right?
Well,
Like whether, go ahead.
I, di- I they didn't say whether or not it was capped or not.
Yeah, they didn't.
That
That's
yeah,
something I want to see too.
for all we know, they're gonna give everybody a set of gear, or
I don't
you know what
think
I
it
mean?
should be any cap in this game. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, dude, it's like the training wheels have to come off in life and in games sometime, man.
Yeah, especially at Nodewar, right? I mean,
Like, well, yeah. Look, it, if you only do capped content, I get it for new players and players looking to chill and eventually, but you got to graduate and like take off the pull-ups and put on the real clothes at some point in time.
I mean,
You
they
know,
could take a page out of WoW's book or like other MMOs where, I mean, I never played WoW, but I have friends who've played the hell out of it, and because of that, I have a lot of like secondhand knowledge because they just talk about it a lot. And I know that WoW's battlegrounds, they look at your item score, and once you hit a certain item score, you can't go in the lower battlegrounds anymore. They could just do that. They can keep the capped wars, but just look at their gear score and are like, okay, well, the highest gear score your account has ever hit is this.
okay,
So
so your account gear
we're
scores. You should
putting
have account gear score.
so yeah.
dude, I get
And I
it, but
mean,
then you're
if
just
you
gonna
if
have a
you
bunch of people wanting to be the best bronze rank they could be.
well, yeah, and then they'll stay at the lower gear level. Like then they stay like low gear and they get lesser rewards and they fight the noobs. That's gonna happen no matter what, right? Every game people wants to be the pub stomper. They want to shit on noobs. They want to farm them on node, whatever. You're not gonna stop that.
I don't see how
But at
people find
least
that
this
fun.
way, I don't either, but people like doing it.
Well, now it's
It's
gonna
just
happen in
because what
like a
you're
cool
saying is
Venn
you want to
diagram.
push more people into the end game of uncapped and higher caps, right? So that would do that if they literally just actually force them into the higher caps if they're capable of participating in them.
It would have to be escalating. It'd be like the more you win, it pushes it up. Yeah, not gear score.
You might be right about that. Yeah, it really depends on their implementation of that. I see that y'all both have different opinions. I think it's great that the new player wants it to be uncapped. Blue Sky, the siege player, the wizard, wants it to be capped. Um, I personally, I think that there should be multiple. There should be a capped and an uncapped one, and it should be completely different content from Node Wars that you queue up for whenever you want. And whenever enough people for a region war press the region war button, a region war happens. I don't know why we have to wait for anything. I don't know why we have to remove node wars to do this. We were gonna have an entirely different War of the Roses. Why do we need, you know what I mean? Why are they thinking so one dimensional? They were smart enough to put pre-built structures. Maybe they saw the last podcast, wink wink. Maybe they'll watch this one. But why are they thinking so one dimensional? Why are they taking away content again? That's the most important thing. Like, they have a game that works and they're just removing the game, like part of the game, just like the open world. They're not adding an equivalent. They're adding, I don't know what this is gonna be, right? A question mark. But let's talk about the GVG change. All right, so do y'all know what the ranked GVGs are all
Yeah,
about?
they call it I don't remember what they call it. I think call it Legion War or something. I don't remember.
So yeah, Legion War is basically gonna have two tiers for like the higher tier guilds and the lower tier guilds, which is great. So there's gonna be sets of rewards for whoever wins both of those, and then it's gonna have basically GVGs. I think 20 to 40 people in size or something like that. People will choose their cores, as I mentioned earlier, and they would fight in these represent your guild battles for ranked in a ranked scenario on certain maps. And they're kind of iconic looking maps, Sandgrain, some different spots in the game. It looks really good for the game. Why? It's additional content that they're adding. It's a shame they took away actual GVGs from the game and then they added ranked GVGs. That's kind of stupid, isn't it? Like why would they take away? It's like they took away quick play and now they're giving us ranked. But anyways, let's hear Blue Sky. Tell me what do you think about ranked GVGs? Tell me.
I feel
what was it called
strongly about
again?
this. I think it was Legion War. I'd have to watch the video and like hear what he says again. But it's a good idea. It's a good thing they're adding it. I think they should add it. It's not bad. But they're adding it for the wrong reason. Their reason for adding it was like, oh, we've removed open world stuff, blah blah blah. Players liked fighting in the open world, they liked the feeling of it. So yeah, we're gonna make these instanced by the nature of instances, not open world, by the way. Open world areas that you can fight in kind of a GG format where just a guild queues up against another guild and you fight, right? That is not why people liked open world GVGs. The reason people liked open world GVGs is because of the story and like the rivalry and the culture behind how they all start, right? Like I don't fight in a GVG because like, oh yeah, I like fighting at Mansions. Mansions is a cool spot. It's fun to fight in the open world. I mean, yeah, it is, but there's something better about like, oh yeah, I'm fighting because they said shit, talked shit, or like, you know, they're griefing my guild member, or my guild wants to grind this spot and they're not letting. Like, it's different, right?
Oh,
That's
so
what
you're
people
saying
like about it.
there will be less drama, you think?
I mean, even right now,
Drama's
all the
not
drama
bad.
GVGs are gone with the new deck system. They don't exist. They already got rid of them, and it's not, like I said, it's not the open world GVGs that people are missing. It's how
It's
they
the chat
start.
PvP. Be real.
Yeah.
That's the chat PvP. It doesn't matter how good and how strong Geo is. If I call him a weakling Valkyrie before we fight, that's what everybody's gonna remember. You know what I mean? By the way, please don't beat me up, Geo. He's so strong. Geo's such a strong Valkyrie. I can't believe I said that in the podcast. But I'm just saying that's what matters most. The chat PvP matters more than the actual PvP. He's so weak. Oh my god.
Well, so yeah, this is
I
new
love you,
player
Gio.
perspective, right? For open world GVGs versus this, like this is great, like you said, and I like it, but I'll never forget this because I got a little taste of it and then it got taken away. I was pinned to Vala in Akhman, and I had 200 million silver to my name total, right? I'd used a tent buff for 50 mil, and then two of my friends and one of the officers got in a fight at Ash Forest, and they're like, all call. I literally rode my horse because I didn't know how to set the call. The was it the CTG? So I rode my horse all the way to Ash Forest, and I got munched the entire time. But I got one kill, dude. It felt so good to be like, "Yo, I got one kill," and all these people had all this gear, and it allowed me to bond with my friend group, right? Like to share that experience.
That's
And you
exactly
can't
what
get
I'm
that in
talking about.
yeah, you can't get that in scripted, structured PvP. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're not gonna all call ranked GVG, and if you are, you prefer a small guild, right?
Yeah, and I mean, this just
shoot.
goes back to kind of what you've talked about before, Vessel. Is just they have the sandbox game and they're removing the sandbox part. This new GVG
Yeah,
thing does not a sandbox GVG. It's a queued, glorified team-based RBF.
they're getting rid of the part that we signed up for, and they're giving us. It's like I said, we asked for A, and they're giving us A, B, and C all put together, and it's not That's not A. That's
Yeah.
the alphabet.
I mean, they should go through with this. They should add the mode, but just give us our sandbox back. Like, I think this mode's fine. It's great. It's good for the game. It'll add more fun stuff for PvPers to do, but why can't we have the sandbox? I don't get it.
Our fun should not be scripted, right? Like we shouldn't have to
It's like
enjoy
they
what we want
took
to
the
do the
sand out
way
of the
they want
box and put pillows in it.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I don't really have anything to say. Let's go to the new spot and drop some final notes on that before my equal sign button is mad at me. Let's see, Dark Retreat, is that what it's called? Dark Watcher.
I don't know. I think what Blue said is like spot on. Like they're doing good things, but for the wrong reason.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, so my major issue with all the crazy stuff from the Nodewar stuff is they have all positive reaction from KR from the first part. So we really need to voice our stuff. So we need to make sure that they know we don't like it, but it's very unfortunate that it's yeah. But on that same note, the Dark Watcher Retreat. Let's finish strong and what we think of this new place. I think they shouldn't have catered to the noobs. They should have stayed true to their vision with the new place. It was going to be the best expansion in a while. You were going to have to PvP over it. They should have made the boots a little easier to get. And then apparently I'm a dent. It's Dark Seeker's Retreat. My brain is smooth, all right? I run the podcast. I don't think things, okay? I'm just kidding. I think big brain. This is little brain. So Dark Seeker Retreat. It's all great. It's all great, except the mob density makes no sense. The fact that there's a bunch of mobs hidden on the side and all these other areas, they don't make any sense. Unless you think about it like it was all supposed to be this like bandit area where you could just go clap somebody. I think it was designed to where when the guy on your server got a flame, you were supposed to go kill him.
I still do that.
You see what I'm saying? I think that's what you were supposed to do, and I don't see a problem with that. I don't see, if I just got a flame and you just murked me and now I got a chance to send you to jail, I'm so happy, man. You know how happy I am? I might not even send you to jail, but I could.
Or I wanted to be sent to jail because I felt like I was missing out, dude. It's part of the game that, like I had to ask somebody to let me kill him so I could do it. I had to go red.
Yeah, I mean, a large part of that whole area was designed with the bandit thing in mind, and then they changed their mind at the last second. So you're missing part of the design philosophy in there, which I don't know. That part doesn't bother me as much. But again, this is like we talked about before. They removed the sandbox. There was going to finally be
Where's the
sandbox
arrow
PvP
up?
again, as long as the spots stayed alive, which is as long as people needed the boots and the artifacts, which would have been a long ass time. And they just like, no, people don't like sandbox. We're gonna not do that.
They're taking that feeling of adventure away of it. They're literally just ripping it out because, like, man, if you actually had to be like, look, I'm gonna have to wade through some bodies to get here to get my boots, it's like I better be committed to go doing it, right? And if you fail, you're gonna go to jail.
I mean, I was really looking forward to that, and for them to take that away now, I don't even. I have. How many embers do you think I have? How many embers do you think I have?
0.
I have 0.
Less than 10. Yeah.
Not a single one. So if y'all have anything you want to say about any of this stuff, while we're done here.
No, I feel like I said my piece on all that.
Only thing I can say is that I have noticed that BDO is a very secular, and it's for better or worse, it's a small community, especially the PvP, and that I think the outside perception is that PvP means everybody's your enemy, right? Instead of it all being good fun, because you can PvP, talk trash, clown on your friends, and still have fun and still be healthy. And I think we need to, as a community, try and reinforce that.
I agree completely. Dang it. I think that overall, like in general, we were really hopeful for like Calpheon Ball just about a year ago, and they gave us a lot of really good stuff to look forward to, and now it's scary because they removed open world PvP. Um, we have, dude, I have AOS constantly, and I can barely get a Q. You know what I mean? Half the time, and I don't know. It's because people just really aren't that interested in PvPing right now, because they've took so much of it away, I believe. And then you look at the changes they're doing. It's just at this point, I want to do a dungeon. I want to do raids like Tinny. Like at this point, I'm looking at it. I'm looking for something else, because this is no longer what I signed up for. You know what I mean? And I'm starting to get upset. Like it's not that they're not listening. It's they're not listening. They are. They're not listening to America, North America. They're not listening to Europe. They're not listening to Southeast Asia. Like literally, Jay just pulled out a whiteboard and kind of and I don't suggest that he gets fired. If anything, I hope that he watches this podcast and thinks about this stuff. I don't like. It looks like he's just like, I got really blazed last night and came up with this idea. What if Node Wars were like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, and everyone else was like, "That's great, Jay." Like, because there's in no world does anyone who ever did Node Wars looks at that and they're like, "Man," like someone they took the random idea. Like, yeah, we want to fight random people. They took like a couple of our ideas and came out with that, and that was that's horrible. That's horrible. Last time they came up with a Node War system, like I said, they cut the entire Node War scene down by 3/4 and the siege scene in half, because only the big siege guilds really survived. And it was just really crazy to me that they would be like, "Yo, the content we haven't killed in a while, that's finally just kind of there," because they had to rebuild the Node War scene, by the way, with T1 Node Wars and all sorts of stuff that they rebuilt, because they just destroyed it so bad with the changes. And now they're like, "Hey, let's just destroy it again." So that's my final take on all this. And if y'all are done, I think that's probably going to be where we end the podcast. But yeah, I want them to fix their game and quit adding stuff and quit changing things that aren't broken. And that's my entirely based opinion. I got Blue Sky with me. Check them out. I don't know what days you have, specific days you stream on Blue Sky.
Yeah, I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
There you go. And we got good old boy, your resident new player, likes to join us on the podcast. And I'm Vessel Vision. If you made it this far in the podcast, I haven't sold out yet. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow, or whatever YouTube means. I don't know, whatever you do on YouTube. Thank you so much, YouTube, for being here and talking about this with me. This has been killer. Another one. Everybody, as all the people who love the podcast so far have said, now I have something to listen to in my car. So thank you. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you like listening to it in your car. And thank you so much for listening. We just want a better Black Desert Online. Our opinions are entirely biased and entirely based. And that's okay.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Another one. Thank you. No problem. Thanks for joining on such short notice. Let's go.